A live video. Hey guys, what this is about, if you're into comic books, you're in for a treat. We got a live unboxing going on of some key comic books worth thousands of dollars my friend Danny got. And he had them graded. And he just received them. When I say he got them back from FedEx. So they're here, and we're going to do a live unboxing, meaning he's going to take the comics out of the box and hold up what the grade was. So these are comics from the 1960s, otherwise known as the Silver Age of comic books. And the grading, and I'll pull up actual numbers where you'll see the actual value of this book in graded form in terms of what it's actually sold for. So this is pretty cool. These books, like we're talking, I don't want to give it away, but there's like Silver Surfer issue #1, some really cool comics. So Danny will come into the shot. He does this for his YouTube channel. I'm just documenting this live. And let's see. Danny will be here shortly to unbox. And he's had this for 3 days. He waited for me to be here. This is in Athens, Georgia, where we're at right now, to drive here and watch the unveiling of the grades he got. He doesn't know what this grading company graded his comics as, and they look at the condition. It's from a scale of a 0 to a 10. A 10 is the high end. A 10 is what you want, like Bo Derek. You want a 10. So Danny's going to open this box and reveal what his comics were graded, and this is kind of cool and exciting. I think it's a nerd thing though, so I'm sharing this on my personal page. And if that's not your bag, comic books, understand. But it is ours, and it's actually some pretty big money. Here comes Danny. He's shooting his video for his YouTube channel. Let me swing around. Hey, Danny.
Hey, Chance. Hey, everybody.
All right, well, I'm going to share this to a couple comic book pages, comic book collector pages, while you do your thing. So I was just telling everybody that this is a box you've had for 3 whole days. And
it is.
You invested money. You spent money to have these comics graded from a grading company. And they finally came back. And it takes, how long was the process? When you mailed these books to PGX, the company you chose?
It's 12 business days. So, I mean, if you extrapolate like that to weeks, it's about 6 weeks.
That's cool. I'll ask you the same question if you want to shoot video on this question. It's up to you.
No, I want to do live unboxing.
Well, you answered my question. So you've had this though for 3 whole days, and I know yesterday was your wife's birthday, your lovely wife's birthday. So we couldn't deal with this yesterday, but you've been waiting all this time. Got to commend you on your patience, because these books are key books. I mentioned these are Silver Age comics, meaning 1960s. Awesome stuff. So
all right,
let's continue.
I'm gonna do my video.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
What? Relax. It's all good.
I said like my whole intro was lost.
No. You got erased?
No, it's just lost. I don't know.
What do you mean it's lost?
It's just lost. So
no, it's not lost. Hang on a second.
Everybody, welcome to the Kraken's Lair Comics. I'm here with my good buddy Chance and his higher technology is trying to make my janky channel not so janky, but I don't care. Because it's about the comic books people. So this video is the second batch of comic books that I sent off to PGX to get graded. And these are some key issues. So while my good buddy Chance is fooling around with his robots, I'm gonna open a box.
Oh yeah, here we go. I gotta see. I've been waiting. I know you've been waiting longer than me. This is actually exciting. Drum roll. This is cool. Hang on, I gotta share this to a Marvel collector group.
Yeah, it's a big box. Look.
All right, gosh darn it. Hold on, let me get it. I'm in the shot. This is bad video. Sorry.
Good job. Look.
Hang on.
Look. No, I'm not hanging on. It's live, people. It is not a simulation.
Yeah, there we go.
So, I mean, like, this.
Those are the graded comic books, folks. It really is a big deal. I mean, this is... Oh, shit. We see one of them right there.
Oh, no. I don't want to know.
Excuse my language.
Packing material for days.
All right, I saw Silver Surfer #1 right there on the cover.
Up again. See, I was gone for a long time because PGX, they pack their stuff like really well. You know, bubble wrap on bubble wrap and packing peanuts. And the reason they use this is to keep your comics from sliding around so that the covers that they put them in do not get damaged in the mail. I'm trying to not see the grades here, people.
We saw one.
No,
I saw one.
All right. We saw a cover. If you saw a grade, I did not.
We'll go back and tell you the actual value of these grades according to actual sales. This is comic book heaven, man. Comic book collector and investor heaven.
Yeah, it's so these are all the.
What do they give you there? Like some plastic bags
to put around them.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I've never actually had a book graded. I bought graded comics, but I've never sent them off to be graded. This is exciting, actually. I'm really pumped up. This is cool.
At this point, on my phone, if I start showing these books, they're going to be backwards. So I have to flip my phone. That's my janky little channel. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to just set these here. Once again, like they give you these plastic sleeves so that the plastic sleeves the books are encapsulated in, you know, won't get scratched, damaged, sometimes dropped if perhaps you're not paying attention to what you're doing. Chance Bartels. So, all right, I'm moving down here. This is exciting. This is exciting.
We're in the nitty gritty.
This is exciting. All right. Got to move the camera. A lot of these are, this is pretty major. Now, I will say, I am not a professional grader. I do not know what I am doing. So when I assign any sort of, you know, my idea of a grade to a comic book, it is because I do not know what I am doing. When I send them in, I'm not pulling them out of the bag and board. I'm not looking at the back of the comic. I'm not looking at every single page, which obviously is related to condition of that comic book. So if I am wildly off on these grades, it is not an example that PGX does not know what they're doing or is a janky company. It's an example of I do not know what I am doing. Now, after this, me and my good buddy Chance are going to have a discussion about grade a book or don't grade a book. But for this purpose, these are books that I have spent money to get graded. Chance.
Yes.
Do you want to do the honors?
Sure. Oh my gosh, yes. This is exciting. Oh my God. I can't believe you gave me the honors. All right, here we go.
I don't know what it is.
Look at the monitor. Hang on. Here we go with the first one.
I've waited days, Chance. Let's do this.
I'll tell you what this is. This is New Mutants issue 98, the first appearance of Deadpool.
Okay.
I think you're going to be happy with this grade.
I want to see it.
This is $1,000 book.
I want to see it. Put it up here so my viewers can see it.
Boom.
Damn. That is nice.
A 9.4.
Now,
out of 10, and 9.8 usually the highest grade any book will get. Gosh darn it. There we go.
That is nice.
Oh.
I will reference two things again. One, I am not a professional grader, and I do not know what I'm doing. Two, I paid the additional $25 to have every one of these books pressed and dry cleaned. So I had put this book at an 8.0 to a 9.0. I had paid a total with pressing, dry cleaning, cost of the book at $250. If we can go to gocollect.com or not.
Yeah, we can. No problem.
I mean, I thought it was really pretty. I will say my last batch that came back, it seemed like I graded a little bit too high. So I wanted to scale that back down. Such a pretty book. And regardless of the value of this book now, Deadpool's coming. Madcap's coming.
Damn right.
Chance didn't take the bet on that.
All right. Let's see here.
So New Mutants 98.
I got it.
9.4.
All right. Let's look at the values here. And then we'll ask what you paid for it if you haven't already
Well,
said.
no, I already said.
And how much?
I paid a total with buying the comic book, pressing, shipping, insurance, dry cleaning, all of it. I'm in $250. 9.4.
9.4. This is according to actual sold auctions, $375. So still, you made money.
And that's now. I mean, Deadpool movie is coming.
A 9.8 is $1,000 comic.
Good. Okay.
Just saying.
Well, no. I mean,
next, or do you have more to add to this first appearance of
Deadpool?
No.
We're in the next comic, Chance.
All right, hang on. Let me get it.
But still, 9.4, very respectable. That's awesome. That's awesome. Deadpool's coming, people. I don't know what this book is.
Let me get.
Chance has got it.
I got it.
Tell me what it is and not the grade.
Okay. Marvel Premiere number 15.
Oh, first appearance, Shang-Chi. I am totally in, $90. I had this put at a 5.0 to a 6.5.
Boom!
Oh, wait, that was the wrong book. Okay, Marvel. Okay, yeah.
First appearance of.
In this, there's Marvel Special Edition 15.
The 15 through you.
I got confused with the 15. This, I'm in $130. I had it at a 5.0 to a 6.0.
First appearance of Iron Fist.
First appearance of Iron Fist. Chance, can you look up?
Yes.
Marvel Premiere 15. GoCollect.com 5.5.
No problem.
This is exciting.
Tell them a little bit about this book.
I mean, it's the first appearance of Iron Fist. I've mentioned before that the Netflix Iron Fist disappointed me. So it sounds like they are revisiting it. So I think this book is still on the rise. I bought this at MegaCon in Florida for $80. About 4 years ago. Once again, with like the grading and pressing, dry cleaning, all that stuff. I'm in $130. It came back a 5.5, and when my good buddy Chance,
I got it right here,
figures out GoCollect.com,
$180, 5.5.
Okay, so I'm $50 ahead over what I spent, but when Iron Fist rises again, I think it's a really good book to have encapsulated, kept safe, so the condition is not devaluing. So that's awesome.
And we'll get to some high dollar books in just a little bit.
Well, Chance,
thousands of dollars.
Chance.
Okay, next up.
I need you because I can't look. Tell me the book.
Ooh, a big one.
Tell me the book.
Iron Man 55.
First appearance of Thanos. I'm in $500 on this book. I had it put, once again, I don't know what I'm doing, a 7.5 to an 8.5. Chance, reveal.
Boom!
Okay. So, a little bit lower But still, I'm sure when we go to gocollect.com, I have value in this book. It is encapsulated, so the condition will never deteriorate. 6.0, I can handle that. First appearance of Thanos. Chance.
Next up,
No, gocollect.com.
Oh, of course. Number 55. Iron Man.
I thought this was a little bit nicer. One lesson that I've learned is, I don't pull the comics out of the bag when I send them in to be graded. So I'm not like looking at the back of the comic where there could be damage. I'm not looking at every single page. So once again, if my grades are wrong, it's not an indictment on PGX. It's like I don't inspect these books like a grader would. 6.0, awesome. Chance.
What do you have in it?
$500.
$600.
So I'm $100 ahead, and Thanos is not going anywhere.
Do people understand that he's the villain from Endgame? He's the one that destroyed half the universe.
I'm sure my 49 wonderful subscribers who are
they do.
A comic book channel.
Oh yeah, they know.
Chance.
Yes.
Ready.
Book. Next up. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Okay, I'm coming. Relax.
All right. Yeah.
Let's see. And the comic is, it looks pretty from the back. Ooh, a key book. Fantastic Four, number 49.
Okay, I am $400 in this. My estimate was a 3.5 to a 5.0. I bought this November on Thanksgiving Day from a obscure relatives collection. So, Chance, reveal.
I think you're going to be happy. Boom!
Damn. All right. I had this at a 3.5 to a 5.0. I'm $400 in. This is pretty huge. Chance, gocollect.com.
Let's see.
7.0.
Let's see here. It's a beautiful, look at the artwork. Jack Kirby art.
Well, I think the pressing and the dry cleaning, that $25 extra, I would have never imagined this was a 7.0. But where they can remove pressable damage and foxing and fingerprints and stuff, that additional $25, dude, a 7.0?
And this book was like rotting in a God.
A different story.
A different story. All right. Are you ready? Drum roll. A 7.0 Fantastic Four number 49 sold for consistently $2,050.
Wow.
In that gray.
And I'm $400.
$72,000 in a 9.8, I might add. To give you an idea of, you might want to have a second opinion on the grade, if you know what I'm saying.
No, 7.0. Wow. $400 in. Thank you, Will.
Absolutely.
All right, Chance. Next book. This is fun.
Dun, dun, dun,
this is fun.
Oh, another one.
All right,
Fantastic Four number 48.
Okay, now. Okay, I know this book is restored. The edges were trimmed. There was a little bit of a glue at the spine, so I was aware of this. I am $750 in on this book. It's not cheap. I had this estimated at a 4.0 to a 5.5.
And I of course have it myself,
but the cover was so nice, I had to pull the trigger. So, all right, I had it 4.055. Chance, you're killing me.
Okay, buddy. Happy New Year! Wow. 8.0. That's the first appearance of the Silver Surfer. He's bound to be in the Marvel Universe on Disney Plus, Fantastic Four universe.
Now,
formerly owned by Fox.
For newer comic collectors, this does have the green label. You know, it's like amateur, you know, monetized, trimmed, glue, like I said. Chance, like when I told him about this book, he's like, glue. I was like, dude, the cover looks so pretty. There's no big creases. There's no hunks missing out. It looks really nice. But he was like, glue. And I was like, I pulled the trigger. So yes, folks, I am in $750 on this book. Chance, gocollect.com. Fantastic Four 48 8.0.
$4,200, Danny. Actual sales, actual value.
Actual factual
which
sales.
will increase when Silver Surfer inevitably is in the Marvel Universe on Disney Plus or on the big screen. Inevitable. And I have that book too. Not as nice as yours. Not as nice as yours.
Dude, I mean, I'm actually a little bit blown away.
That's a good grade. Even for PGX. Like some might say CGC is the premier grading company. And, you know.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me to have this graded from CGC, since it came back and restored 8.0, they would have charged me a percentage of the value of this book. So as opposed to it costing me $50 for the pressing, the dry cleaning, the grading, being the now Chance is saying
people don't know what pressing is.
The value
well, your people do, but
is thousands of dollars. It would have cost me hundreds of dollars more to have CGC grade this book. So, wow.
Good job. Next, are we ready?
Yeah, I'm swooning.
I know. Just savor this moment, Danny. An 8.0. Man, anything above a 7 is a good damn grade in any comic book. Whether you're an investor, collector, I mean, and look at that artwork. That's the Watcher on the cover.
1966, people.
Behold.
All right, Chance, next book.
Next.
Damn.
Congratulations, Danny, on that.
Oh, I'm scoring.
Next up, and I can't believe you waited to see this grade. Conan the Barbarian.
Okay.
Issue 1.
Okay, as I showed in my video, and I talked about this, I got this book for free. We had bought a vintage Coke machine for it was like $5,000. In the shipping, they dropped it. And so the seller refunded the money, right? But at that time, eBay still gave us the eBay bucks showing the purchase. And I'm sure eBay has taken advantage or fixed that problem. So I got $70 eBay bucks. And I bought this Conan #1. I love Conan. I've loved Conan from the day I met Chance, like way.
In the 80s, early 80s.
So this book cost me nothing, but I did have to, you know, I paid for the pressing, dry cleaning, grading, and all that stuff. So I'm in $50 on this book. I put this book at a 6.0 to a 7.0. Chance.
Yes.
But he's
all right. I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Hang on. And don't look yet.
Look,
nope. All right. Let me get the camera set up. Hold on. I'm doing. We're only two person crew, folks. So bear with us. All right. Here we go. Here we go. So now,
Conan 1. I'm $50 in. I put this at a 6.0 to a 7.0.
Are you ready, sir?
I have to be.
Bam!
7.0. Nice.
Gosh darn it. I wish I could show everybody this cool book. Gosh darn it. Let me tilt it.
Chance, gocollect.com.
No problem.
Conan the Barbarian was such an iconic Barry Smith cover.
7.0.
7
out of 10.
Man. That's
no one gets a 10. 9.8. $300.
I am $50 in.
Ahead?
Yeah, no, I'm like I spent $50 total.
Oh my God, you got $250.
Well, I told you,
and there's more to come. More to come. Good for you, Danny.
Okay.
Are we moving on?
Yes. I love this cover.
Yeah, show it a little more on the camera.
I'm so glad that I got this graded.
And by the way, Danny, what's your YouTube channel? You're getting some good close-up shots I can't get with my camera here. What is your YouTube channel? Kraken's Lair?
Kraken's Lair.
On YouTube.
Yeah, there's chance. I think we're, dude, we still have 2 to go. If this
no, there's more than 2.
Well, all right, let's go. That's awesome. That makes me so happy. I love that. That makes me so happy.
All right, next up.
Tell me the issue, not the grade.
It's more than 2. Captain America 100.
Okay, got this at the Marriott Hotel. I am totally in on this book. $110. It has some damage. I've got this at a 4.5 to a 5.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Bam!
5.5. Nice. It does have like that color rubbed off there. And the thing that people that don't collect comics don't understand, that sometimes the difference will, a 5 or a 6.
The hell is it?
Or a 6 to a 7. Or a 7 to an 8. It doesn't seem like that much, but these things are made out of paper. And if you don't take care of them, less and less every single year remains in good condition. And so the supply is the supply. The demand rises every single year. So I wanted to keep this kept safe. Once again, it's not a high value book. It's not like $130 in. Chance. Captain America 100. Go collect.com.
Computing.
Chance is my robot.
Computing, sir.
And I don't think right now I'm in a whole lot of profit on this, but it's now not going to degrade in condition anymore. So Captain America 100, I'm $130 in, 5.5 Chance.
Bam. Let's see. Are you filming me? Or the book?
No, I'm filming the book.
All right.
I'm filming 5.5.
$260, Danny.
Okay, so from 140 to 260. Cool. Chaz.
Next.
This is kind of fun.
Yes, it is. Okay.
It is. You look like Fester.
Uncle Fester on the Addams Family, right? Okay, well, let me get
the next book, Chance.
Let me get the next one.
I'm pretty happy.
Well, you're banking. I mean, you are banking, sir. This is good extra money. Good for you. All right, next up. Right. Tomb of Dracula number 1.
Okay,
explain.
Okay, 1. This is my favorite out of all these books, regardless of value. I used to see the image in Marvel Comics, like their ad pages, and I love monsters and I love Dracula, and I just wanted this book. I lusted after this book, and it looks so pretty. And after the housing market banking collapse, I started like looking online for people selling, books, and to me this was like really nice and it looked super cherry.
What a gross term. Just kidding.
And I bought it for $25. And at that time, that was the most I'd ever spent on a comic book. $25. And I just love it. So on this book, pressing, dry cleaning, all that stuff, I'm in $75. I have this put at a 6.5 to a 7.5. Once again, I don't know what I'm doing, but it's like, I love this book. I'm just happy to have it safe. And Chance is, I want to see the grade. Chance.
Coming right up.
Everybody is tired of seeing
Coming right up.
Okay.
Coming right up.
I'm $75 in. I put this 6.5. 7.5. Chance.
Boom!
That's nice. From a book from 72, 8.5. Wow. Has the glow of chances. Oh man, that makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. It's not super valuable, but Chance's looking at gocollect.com as we speak. Tuma Dracula, number 1. I'm in $75. This came back graded an 8.5.
I already told you, but
Oh, did I miss it?
yeah, you missed it.
What was it?
$350.
All right.
Hey guys, what's up? What's happening?
Get the next book.
8.5 coming right up. Yeah, 350. You made me doubt my reality, sir.
Well, no, I mean that's good. I mean, I was in my own head.
All right, well, let's get the next one then.
And I told people like when I was like I'm sending this in, I was like I knew it was like not like highly valuable, but in high grade, it obviously has some value.
It's a beauty, though.
Put it in a stack, Chance.
Yeah, I'm just showing my people.
Oh.
And the comic collectors out there. All right, next up. There's only a few more to go.
Here's all my notes. Just so people don't think I'm lying. Tuma Dracula,
Cool.
number 1, $75 in. I thought it was a 6.5 to a 7.5. I'm not making this stuff up, people. New Mutants, 98. I was 250 in. That was my suspected grade. What book?
Marvel Special Edition 15.
First appearance, Shang-Chi. Movie is coming. Number 15. I am $90 in. I had this at a 5.0 to a 6.5. Chance. Review.
Okie dokie, Smokey.
So.
BAM!
6. So I am.
First appearance of Master of Kung Fu, who will be in a Marvel movie very soon, as you mentioned. Big character.
I'm $90.
Martial artist superhero.
So once again, this like split the difference. I was a 5.0 to a 6.5 because there is. I get around Chance's tech. There is a chip right there, and I knew that. I showed that in my video. So my 5.0 to 6.5. This came back a solid 6. I paid $40 for this comic book at the Little Fleet.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the owner of Cosmic Debris, Brad, he passed away, and I'm really proud to have the memories of buying comic books from him and have this graded in my collection. It adds a special sort of nostalgia.
No pun intended. Special edition. Special Marvel edition.
My buddy Chance, like I took him to Cosmic Debris, and he found some good deals. And such a great book to find in the wild. Proud to own it. 6.0. This movie is coming out. Don't miss the boat, people. All
Ready
right.
for the price?
Oh, yeah.
6.0, according to gocollect.com, is selling for $270.
I'm $90 in.
A 9.8, to put it in perspective, is $6,750 of actual sales. And I'm not saying that to disparage anything. I'm just talking facts. I always want to mention the top.
It's a good book.
The top grade selling price. All right, so we ready for another one?
We're ready.
All right, cool. Let me go get it. All right. This is exciting. Even for people that aren't comic guys, that like grading and collecting.
So this is the last one.
Oh, Lord. It's a biggie. It's a big one.
What's the book?
Silver Surfer #1.
Okay, I bought this during, once again, the housing market backing collapse. I paid $90 for the comic book. I paid $50 for the dry cleaning, the pressing, and all that stuff. I did notice there was a small spine split at the very bottom beginning to happen. And these these Silver Surfers are thick issues. So that's a problem. I had, so I'm $140 in. I have this at a 3.5 to a 4.5.
All right. Well, I think you'll be happy then.
Well, you know.
All right.
3.545.
Hold on. This is the last one. We got to do a drum roll. This is exciting. Silver Surfer. My God, he's the
Number one.
Galactus. Hold on. Number one. Not the first appearance. We already saw that earlier in this video. That was Fantastic Four issue 48. But we are going to reveal now the grade of Silver Surfer number one that you estimate to be a 3.5 to a 4.5, right?
Yeah, there's that little spine split.
All right. Well, this is cool. Let's go. Let's get it. Dun, 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 dun. Bam!
Nice. The top end where I thought it would be.
Well, good.
Yeah. No,
You've been great. You've come out ahead on every single book so far.
Yeah.
Great with your predictions.
Yes. Now, once again, for our Kraken's Lair audience, you've got to calculate all the money you're in on a book. If you go to a comic book con and it's $40 for entry, and you spent $10 to park, that's money that you're already invested in to walk in the door, right? If you're getting books graded, you have to look at the net gross profit, where, yes, I spent $90 on this book right up until I had it graded. That cost me another $50 for the pressing, the dry cleaning, and getting encapsulated and having graded.
Explain what dry cleaning is, please, Danny.
It's where they sort of lightly clean the books. It can remove some foxing, fingerprints, oil, just dirt from, people's fingertips reading the comic book. But it can raise grades a little bit. Chance and I are going to do a video about like the, benefits of having books graded versus not having them graded.
Yes, today.
Yeah. So, but right now, this is such a key issue to own. I'm very happy to have it, to own this. It's now protected in this encapsulated case. Did you give us the value on the 4.5?
I did. No, not yet. But I just love the cover by John Buscema. That's the artist who drew that. Jack Kirby co-created the character with Stan Lee, Silver Surfer, but I think John Buscema took it to another level with that artistic expertise. So
I think I accidentally
well, we can resume. I'm still live, but do whatever.
No, I think I accidentally fucking.
Well, when did it stop? Go back and look.
Yeah.
All right, Facebook Live people, a 4.5. I'll save it for your benefit, Danny. Oh, God. I hate hearing my own stupid voice.
No, man. Finish your video. Like
No, we're not finishing.
No, I'm
It's going to take you a minute?
No, I hit a button and it's done. My video's done.
Well, can you resume it and edit it? I can show you how to edit it. Just resume. Pick up where you left off.
I did that. I'm doing it on the phone, Chance.
I can help you with that on the phone. Well, record.
Well,
hit record.
How's that tying that in to?
You'll see. Look, I know how to do this.
I can edit it. No, we do the comics. We got the grades. Let's finish this up. Let's
Oh, for my live video. Okay.
Yeah.
So a comic 4.5 Silver Surfer 1 sells on average for $475 and has sold. Actually, these are actual sales.
Yes.
$475 is the average sale price in that grade. The high end for Silver Surfer 1, and I have a beautiful copy in my collection, $58,000. That's a big difference. My God. Think about it. $58,000 for a 9.8 top end. This seems like it should be somewhere in like, I don't know, 10 grand. I mean, that seems 470, but that's actual sales. That's just, it is what it is, right?
Now, where does
Let's spin this around and just talk for a sec. Go ahead.
Where does the condition of yours compare to this?
Mine's better. Let me get this going where we can get both in the shot. Are we done with collect for now? All right.
There's definitely.
There we go. All right. So, hang on, buddy. Let me lean in here. All right.
I was so happy to buy this, man. I got like such.
Let's review real quick and hold up for the camera for my people, because I don't think the camera angle's that good on my end. The comics we've graded this far, and we'll wrap up. There's the first appearance of front and back. Let's show front and back. Okay, so there's that one. Stack them up. Let me see that Silver Surfer again, please. I want to give that more justice. I know I just held it up pretty good, but the back's nice. And when Danny was talking about a split, he means in the spine. These are thick 25-cent editions. At the time, comics were 12 cents a piece, so it's a double-size issue.
It's right there. You can see it.
There's a split. So that accounts for the gray. Mine doesn't have that. Anyway, next up, Tuma Dracula. Just love the art. Now, is that Plug? And look at the back, the ad. I just think that's cool.
Yeah, no, I just want to grade.
Look at it. I mean, and these are vacuum sealed. I'm not a big fan of grading because I'm a collector and a lover of comics and the art and the stories more than as an investor. But there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not insulting anybody here in the comic realm. Captain America 100 key issue. Prior to this, for the layman out there that doesn't know, or the average person that's not a comic collector, prior to issue 100 of Captain America, it was called Tales of Suspense. Marvel Comics really started doing superhero books in August 1961 when Fantastic Four 1 was issued. Prior to that, it was monster comics, war comics, romance comic books, things of that nature.
Monsters.
Yeah, as I mentioned, monsters. Didn't really focus on superheroes. So this was the first time Tales of Suspense became a sole superhero comic, meaning Captain America 100. Key book, you see Captain America is flanked by a lot of Avengers and future Avengers, including Black Panther. So this is a good book. Mine's nicer. Now, yours is nicer than mine of this one, though. Mine is nicer than that. Mine's probably a 9.5. All right, so next up, we got Conan the Barbarian, issue 1. First appearance of Conan. This is 1970. This was published.
It's on the notes.
October. Oh, yeah, look. Yeah, but that's always 3 months ahead. Another important fact is that the cover date and the date these grading companies go by is not the date it was actually out to the public. That's 3 months ahead of actual time for distribution and circulation purposes in the publishing world. So if it says October, that would be August. September. August 1970 is when this was released. Of course, in 1982, shot in 81, the Conan the Barbarian movie was filmed.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnie. Next up, another first appearance. Silver Surfer we talked about. Fantastic 458. 1966. Okay, this would be, says March 66, so dang, it would be December 65.
Sure.
No. Wait.
We're doing the chance.
December 1965 is when this hit the public, but it's Fantastic Four number 48. First appearance of the Silver Surfer. I have this. Danny's is nicer than mine. Got to admit. So look, I'll call it like it is. If your book's nicer than mine, mine's nicer than yours. I'm not bragging. I'm just stating a fact. Your copy's nicer than mine. It is, and it's a beauty, and that's a great grade. Look, it's PGX. It's still, that's a grade.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't care what you say.
Dude, the cover is just, I mean,
And there's no breaks. Look, let's show it for the camera.
Like
look at that art.
Dude, when I bought this,
you're gonna see in a movie. The thing is, this thing is totally gonna skyrocket. If you don't have Fantastic Four 48,
where do I look? Where's the camera?
Right there. Look at yourself. There's the monitor. Right there, buddy. Hello.
All right.
So you hold it up.
When I bought this, I mean, well, look, every collector has like sort of like issues and non-issues of things that they can accept. Like, you know, a facsimile cover. No, would never buy that. The cover torn in half. Oh no, I would never buy that. Some kid wrote like Billy on the cover. I would never buy that. And that's okay. You can collect the comics that you enjoy that make you happy. Now, I knew this was restored when I purchased it. I paid so low for it, even knowing it was restored. I was cool with it. My buddy Chance, when I was like, yeah, dude, this is going for this. There was actually a little bit of glue here, which the pressing and dry cleaning removed. But he's like, oh, dude, glue and burr. I mean, and that's fine. If there's certain issues about comics that confront you, don't buy them. But I was like, dude, there is no hunks missing out. There's no major creases. The gloss looks perfect. I know it's been trimmed. I know it's been a little bit restored. So it's like, I am okay with it. I never thought it would come back at 8.0. But
that's a high grade.
Yeah. The point is, it's like, look, there is no wrong way to collect comic books. If you just want to own them and the cover's torn off and it's like Marvel chipping, but you're like, dude, I want to read the story. I want to own this comic book. I love this comic book. That's fine. If there's, you know, certainly if it's a significantly valuable comic book, you want to do your research. You know, you want to know what you're doing. You don't want to be like, dude, I love it so much. My emotions are out of control. And this comic book is only worth 500, but here's 700 because I just love it. So do your research. But sometimes when there's damage to comic books, it becomes a personal choice. You know, I'm going. So some collector might be like, oh no, there's a date stamp on that. Hate that. I would never buy a comic book with a date stamp. Or it's, you know, whatever. It's missing the pinup. Oh, it's a, you know, married page. Oh, there's rusty staples. There's all kinds of collectors out there that they might pass that book over going, this does not fit the criteria for me to be happy. But maybe the damage that's wrong with the book is something that you can live with. And you might be able to save yourself some money. I mean, dude, I know it's restored, but 8.0 for this book, when they put Silver Surfer or Galactus, what this book is worth now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
That's right. With the movies and the streaming and Disney Plus.
So I you know, once again, I'm like, it wasn't cheap. You know, I'm in $750. 8.0 presenting. I'm okay with my purchase. Just saying.
Next up in our revamped and review, FF49, second appearance of the Silver Surfer. A beautiful book, beautiful grade, 7.0.
Now, I like,
no, don't go there yet. No.
How is this a 6?
No. So, hold on. We're not going there yet, man.
Well,
FF49,
second
first
video.
full appearance of Galactus and the Silver Surfer. Okay, the next edition after the one we just showed you. Anyway, we don't have to dwell on it. We can continue on. Look at the artwork by Jack Kirby.
No, we are going to have like a talk about grading in another video.
Yes, that we do today.
Chance.
Yeah.
No, you here. See that color rubbed off, right? Ding. Ding, 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 ding. Right?
Okay.
7-0.
Yeah, and not consistent. Okay.
7-0.
No one cares about this part, but okay.
Show me a single flaw on this cover.
I don't know if this counts against, but probably the centering. I think that line there. We'll talk later.
No.
All right.
Like 7-0, 7-0. Color break.
That's my point. We'll talk about next video. It's not consistent.
Right.
It's not consistent.
So this is a 7.
No one can see what we're talking about. So
this is a 6. All
right. So let's wrap up. There's 49. Let's go to the next one that he's complaining about.
I'm just saying, like, how is this a 7 and that's a 6?
First appearance of Thanos, the villain in the Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, who snapped his fingers with his chalice with the Infinity Stones and wiped out half of humanity. In fact, not just humanity, but the universe, allegedly, in fictional universe. But there's the first appearance of him. That is Iron Man 55 from 1970.
It's the water stain.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
He just saw on the back there's a water stain. He was questioning the 6.0 grade because it is a beauty. I thought off camera we were talking about. I said, "Oh, that's why because where the heck is it there? Because of it's off center when they pressed it and when it's folded.
This shit water stains.
I wasn't sure if that would count against you in the grade, but there is a water stain up there.
That's it.
All right, well, you answered the question, but that's Jim Starlin art. Let's educate people. Jim Starlin drew this, wrote this. And he had a cameo in Avengers Endgame, the movie. Now put him over there. So next up is Marvel Premiere 15 to review. Put him there. Oh, yeah. Put him down. Here's Marvel Premiere 15, first appearance of Iron Fist. Front and back. Any keynotes? Danny, this is a Netflix show, is it not?
Yeah. And they're revamping it because I think they heard the criticism where it was like there wasn't enough of his costume, there wasn't not enough focus on like the kung fu action, and that was sort of off-putting for people wanting a superhero. The drama was somewhat compelling, but as a wanting a superhero character, it was not.
Did we go through all these in the review?
No, I mean,
put them down there, please.
Okay.
Next up, Deadpool, the biggest smartass in Marvel Comics history of movies. And this book hit the stands in November 1991 with a November 1990 with a February 1991 cover date. New Mutants 98. Danny. Look at the back. There's an ad for the Punishers.
Dude,
please talk about the significance of this book.
Well, I mean, it's the first appearance of Deadpool. And those
the only R-rated Marvel interpretation of a character.
Coming to Disney MCU. They are not going to let these characters go. They're going to mine these properties forever and ever and ever. However, this is made of paper. And so less and less exist every year in high condition. So as the demand goes up, the supply actually dwindles. Dude, a 9.4. That's damn.
I think we've talked about all these. All right, well, we're going to do another video later after we have supper. Yeah, we covered all these, I'm pretty sure, in review.
Yeah.
But any final thoughts? Danny Cochran, I'm Chance Bartels. We're comic book fans. We met back in the 80s. Our parents were both school teachers at Soap Creek Elementary in East Cobb. They're both retired now. But they both knew that we each collected comics, so they paired us together as buddies. And this is back in, I think I met you in 1982. To date myself there.
And look, like, we love comics. We love the history. We love the artwork, the nostalgia, that old comic book smell, the memories of finding a key issue and a number of long boxes in some musty, dusty, garage sale or store or flea market or whatever. So where I talk about like the value of these books It's not to be crass. I love the art form.
And the artwork. And the stories.
And,
the stories really
and the
can bring
stories,
it. Some can bring a damn tear to your eye.
and
Like the death of Gwen Stacy, Amazing Spider-Man 121. I get emotional thinking about it. Not to sound like a sissy. I didn't mean to derail you. Go on.
And I love the history. And that's why, once again, we're going to do another video where we discuss the pros and cons of what is called as like slabbing a comic book, like having it graded. And there are both pros and cons. One of my pros is it protects this book. I want it to keep safe for the next generation of collector, where my mishandling of it or somebody else's mishandling of it, where because it can't come down to like, here's a crease, here's a chipped corner, and you just destroy the value of it. And these,
that's my point in the next video. Gosh, they're gonna think I'm copying you. Exactly. It vacuum seals it. It prevents further deterioration over time of key books from the 1960s that are ages old.
So it does
decades old.
Does preserve them for the next comic book generation of collectors, because all of these movies, these TV shows.
Hold it. They say that'll stay for 100 years once it's entombed. Scientists have said it'll stay preserved for 100 years. I mean, long after you're gone.
I mean, I know
for your next generation.
I know I have comic books and bags and boards that I put in a bag and board like 40 years ago that are still okay, and it's not anywhere near like this, But you derail me again. So, it's I do love comics, and so where I talk about like profit or where it's not to be crass to say that's how I view a comic book, as a monetary opportunity. As I've gotten older and realizing my own mortality, shrugging off the mortal coil, I don't want to have my wife or my daughter have like thousands of comic books to navigate to like what's valuable, what's not valuable, and perhaps be taken advantage of. So, where you get a book graded by any third party, it is not my opinion. It's not my wife's opinion. Being like, oh, my husband collected these comics and he has so much love. Like, it's like, dude, this is the grade. That tells you what it's worth. There's no guesswork. It's also kept, very safe and protected, which works for me. I also know that if I have a book graded versus just being like in a bag and a board, is at least a clue to my wife that, hey, man, this might be a valuable book. Once again, on the labels, they will put valuable information. It says origin, first appearance. So my wife or my daughter don't have to know that. It's on the label. So there's a benefit to that. But once again, I just don't want people to misread my excitement about having these books graded or how they came back graded. To where, I just look at comic books like purely monetarily. A part of the reason I graded them was to protect them. So 20 years from now, 40 years from now, when I'm gone, it like this is still going to be a 6.0.
And you do have a daughter and a wife.
Yes. I'll let you.
Oh no, we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah,
we're gonna go have lunch, late lunch, and we'll do a video later about grading versus not grading. You've kind of covered it, but that's a different audience, different, different places.
I'm gonna do my own thing. You're doing your thing.
We're doing. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great rest of the week. and we'll chat with you later. Danny Cochran, Chance Bartels, Couple Geeks, and we'll be back on channel.
Subscribe. Kraken's Lair Comics. Kraken's Lair Comics.
On YouTube.
Subscribe.
On YouTube.
I'm at 49. Be my 50th subscriber.
And I'm Nostalgic Podblast representing the Nostalgic Podblast everywhere. Just Google it. YouTube and everywhere.
Fistful of Radio.com.
Need you to talk a lot.
Good evening. Good morning. Good afternoon, fellow comic book lovers. I'm here.
Uh-oh. Hang on.
Or not. With some technical issues from... Oh, I guess we're good. Me and my good buddy Chance are here. And we're going to discuss a topic that is very divisive when it comes to comic book collectors. The topic is like, do I get comic books graded?
Explain what graded is, Danny, please.
Or do I not? Okay. There are 3 major grading companies currently. CGC, CBCS, and PGX. And where you pay a fee to submit a comic book, they professionally grade it. They look at the cover. They look at every page. They look at the centerfold. Is the staples rusty? Are the staples, pulling from the centerfold? And they look at every single page and they put a grade on it. Now, a grade of a comic can go anywhere from like a 0.0, which I guess would be like toilet paper, all the way up to a 10. A 10 is a perfect comic book, which doesn't really happen much. Even like a new comic book, like you go to your local comic book shop and you buy whatever off the rack. It's been handled already by multiple people.
Oh yeah.
The production facility, where it got like loaded into a box. That box got loaded onto a truck. The box got unloaded from a truck into a comic book shop. The comic books were taken out of the box. They were then put on a shelf. All this is like being handled by people. So even like a brand new comic book, to get like a 10 is almost impossible. Now, when it comes to very old comic books, say comic books from like the mid 60s, first of all, you have to understand it's a limited commodity. They're not printing anymore. Or where there are is like, it's a reprint, So your supply is finite and decreasing because somebody has like flooding in their basement. Somebody didn't know what it was. They gave it away. They tossed it in the mail or in the trash or whatever. So every year there might be less and less, but there's also the point where in high grade conditions, there's less and less. Somebody's reading it, and oh no, grandma spilled her coffee on it. Oh no, the dog jumped up on my lap and stepped on the comic book. So the supply is limited. Can't find where I'm at. The supply is limited. The demand, which with each increasing Disney movie, MCU, TV show, the demand keeps rising. The supply is finite. So, grading comic books, okay? if you grade a comic book, I'm just going to show you one, right? It doesn't matter what company you send it into. It is encapsulated in this hard plastic. There is a seal. The reason for the seal is like if they assign a grade, but the seal is broken, that grade is no longer valid because somebody might have like pulled it out, handled it, caused additional damage.
Yep.
But at this point, this is not a comic book. You can't read it. You can't look at the artwork, the splash page. You can't read Stan Lee's soapbox. You can't see the letter pages. You can't smell this comic book. This is now an asset. It is a commodity. It is no longer a comic book. So, for people that are, I love comic books. So,
well, speaking of getting smashed, I got a graded book that got smashed. I stepped on the damn thing. And luckily the seal didn't get broken. Tell them, Danny, about the seal, please.
Well, I did. As long as the seal is not broken, whatever grade that is on this book is still valid. Now, what Shannon's saying is he actually stepped on this? But this is like hard plastic. So even though in a moment of he stepped on it, the book's fine.
And my contention is, from an investor standpoint, I understand grading. I'm a collector. I love the way comics, as Danny said previously, smell, feel, touch, the way they holding them, reading them. I just love comic books. I'm a collector more than an investor.
Well, we're both collectors.
Right.
So,
but we each have different goals.
Right. We're going to do this. My first thing, why would somebody grade a comic book? Why would you do this? Because there is cost involved. My first, number one, is preservation. Even if, you got your comic book in Mylar, in a bag, backing board, and it's, in a box, or it's on a shelf, or
when you say Mylar and backing board, he means this.
Yes.
Okay? That's a reprint.
This does to
the layman, it's a plastic bag.
It does protect
that your comic goes in, and a cardboard backing board to protect the spine of the comic.
It does protect the comic book. It does not compare
to having it entombed and in an airtight environment, like it's going in outer freaking space.
Or this is hard plastic.
Right.
Okay. So, preservation. Perhaps you have a very old comic book and you don't want it to get handled by more people because they might, this is big, and they pull it out of the bag, and all of a sudden here's a little tiny chip of the cover that flakes off. Or all of a sudden, as they open it up, there's a spine crease. With some comic books, you might just decrease the value by hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So, grade a book, there's preservation. It's very good protection. Now, I'm also about the knowledge, right? So, I own tons of comic books, and maybe my intention is to sell a comic book. Once again, unless you know absolutely what you're doing and you go through every single page and you're looking at the staples and you're looking at was there a coupon removed or a pinup removed, your estimation of the value of that book might be way off. So there is knowledge. I had a video where it was yeah, man, Spider-Man number 20, pinups removed. It's a 0.5. Where it's graded and you actually have a grade on the book. It's no longer my opinion as a seller going, hey man, I think it's really nice. I think it's a very fine minus. If you're the purchaser and you're shelling out maybe hundreds or thousands of dollars, not taking my word for it, but going, oh, here's this grade
from an independent source.
You might feel more comfortable about spending that money.
Right.
Once again, the knowledge, sometimes on the label, they might say, hey, it's a detached cover. It's a, amateur restoration. Do we have that? FF?
I'll get it.
So once again, for the purchaser, they have more information to go, okay, cool. It is this grade, but there was tape on the cover. There's glue. It was trimmed. It was... Chance is struggling.
Oh, here it is. Of course, it's at the bottom.
It gives the purchaser more information to go, okay, this is exactly what I'm buying.
Let's hold it up good.
And
look at that book. It's worth this is worth thousands of dollars. I have one in my collection. Not in this condition now. But
so once again, there's buyer confidence where if it's like
first appearance Silver Surfer Galactus. Sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
If I want whatever, $1,000 or $1,500, you can actually have resources to go, is it worth it? And it's not me telling you it's worth it. It's professionally graded. So that gives you more consumer confidence. But also, to me as a seller, I know what I'm actually selling. So I'm not maybe losing money going, oh man, I thought it was like a 3.5, or whatever. So it benefits both parties.
Right on. What the hell was that? Go ahead.
See, it's got the glare of the computer.
Oh, gosh. No, it's your lights.
Well,
continue, please. Continue, sir. Or I'll go somewhere.
Like, if you're thinking about like inheritance, like, oh, I'm gonna leave these comic books to my wife, to my son, to my daughter, to my dog. You might have hundreds of comic books that aren't worth. They might be worth like $3, $5 a piece. In order to sell them, that's a lot of effort. If you condense your collection to high key value books, it might make it easier for your inheritors or whatever to like go, hey, it's graded. It's got this grade on there.
Well, let's start the debate right now. I don't understand how CGC, I hate to mention companies, but I just did, gets away with making people predict a percentage or predict what they think the value of the book is, and then they get a cut of that. Can you explain that process?
No, I can't.
That's messed up. Explain, please. What their existing process is for pricing.
My understanding is that you have to buy a membership to CGC, which is $250.
A what? A year?
I guess it's my knowledge is a one-time fee, but you have to pay $250 to be like a member. I don't know what that benefits you, but my understanding is
I'm sure
that like we discussed, if a book comes back with a certain grade, it is now worth a certain amount of money. And sometimes even for like small numbers, like a 6 to a 6.5 to a 7.5 can sometimes jump hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So CGC charges you for grading a percentage of the value of that book.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it makes no like. I would never do it. Like
more power to them and whoever's making that money.
Now a lot of people are like, "Oh, CGC books, they sell for more."
They do.
Woo.
They do on average. Let's be honest.
I know, but they don't ever tell you how much more money they spent to have it graded by CGC. So, example. I send in a book. Okay. Okay. And it's worth, it's not this book, but I send in a book and it has, based on its grade, a value of $200. Okay. I send it into PGX. I get it pressed, dry cleaned in-house and encapsulated, right? And it comes back, I'm worth $200. But I spent $50, right? Pressing, dry cleaning, grading to know that this is now worth $200, right? If I send in the same book to CGC and they charge me a different amount to have it pressed and dry cleaned, which they don't do in-house, they charge me more on the value of the book to have it graded, right? So now that comes to say $100. If I sell this for $300, you go, oh, look, dude, it's CGC. You sold it for $100 more. Now, it cost me $100 more to have the CGC label.
Yeah.
So with the PGX label, I spent less. And even if it doesn't sell for the same amount, I didn't spend the same amount of money to get that label.
Yeah.
So, and I also think it's like self-perpetuating, where the more people like, yeah, man, CGC, CGC, CGC. And I have like emailed dudes that make videos and like, well, okay, cool. How much did that cost you to have it graded? No response. No response. No response. No matter the value of these books, it was $20 to have it graded. I spent an additional $25 to have it pressed and dry cleaned before it was graded. And it's a flat fee. It doesn't matter if this book came out last week, a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. It's a flat fee. So where I'm like, oh, I think it might be a this grade or that grade, I can look at gocollect.com and go, okay, cool. I spent this much money on the book. It's going to cost me this much money to have it like graded, this much money to have it like pressed and dry cleaned, this much money to pay for insurance and shipping.
Right.
Is it worth it? If it comes back a 3 or a 4 or a 5, is it worth it? And you've got to determine these financial values, because if you spend $150 to get a comic book graded that's worth $30, you're an idiot. I don't care. I don't care if it comes back a 9.8. You're like, oh, dude, this comic book came back in 9.8. It's perfect. Okay, cool. It's worth $30. You spent $150 to get that 9.8 label. You are an idiot.
That's funny, man.
Well, it's true. And people out there do this. So you've got to determine what your total costs are and if it's worth it, you know? And so like I sort of like before I send a book off to get graded, like I grade like really low, look at like gocollect.com to like go like, look, is this worth the additional money? Because if I've spent $100 on a book and it's worth 200, right? And I spend $50 to have it graded, and I get the 200, I made $50. If I don't spend the $50 to have it graded, right, I'm in $100. So by not being graded, maybe the auction ends. It's 180. I made $80, right? But
Right.
I came out ahead as opposed to expending the money to have it pressed, dry cleaned, shipped off, insurance, and all that stuff. Now,
when Captain America throws his body.
So that's why I'm like not degrade. Cost benefit. Like no longer a comic. Like I said, like you like it encapsulate. Like you can't read this.
Yeah.
If you open it up and break the seal, the grade is no longer valid.
Well, I want to have the debate with you because
so this is no longer a comic book.
That's right. And you prove my argument. I'm against grading because I'm a collector and there's comics I love for the story that aren't worth crap.
Right.
From the 80s. Like, for instance, Fantastic Four issue number 236. 20th anniversary of Marvel Comics. 20th anniversary of the Fantastic Four. Well, anyway, I love it. It's a triple size issue. It's a great story drawn by John Byrne, written by John Byrne. Dr. Doom's in it. It's a great story. It's not worth anything. But I digress.
Well,
I love to hold it, smell it, feel it. And I love that book as much as any other comic that's worth a fortune or a small fortune in my collection.
Even if that book was a 10, it wouldn't be worth having it graded because...
In that instance, no.
There's no reason to.
In that instance, no. But my point is, like, I'm more of a collector. I love the story. I love the art. I'm not in it for a buck.
Well, I'm a collector too.
But I'm going to play the devil's advocate with you and agree with many points that you made previously. One being that it does preserve the book.
Yes.
If we're talking about a comic book from the 1960s, my gosh, over time, comic books become brittle. They deteriorate. Yeah, well, they deteriorate physically.
Oh, yes.
So the cool thing is when you have it encased in this tomb, it's vacuum sealed. And it will allegedly stay preserved for 100 years after you're gone.
Where's the raw one?
100 years. Here's the raw copy. Fantastic Four 7. I showed them Fantastic Four 6.
I mean, that's so great to see side by side.
Yeah, well, there they are in my collection. Anyway, but it does serve a purpose. So I personally am not really against grading to be like a jerk or anything or not necessarily against it. I mean, I understand the necessity of it, but it depends on what each individual wants from their collection.
Right.
Is it an investment or is it something that you really enjoy?
I don't think that's exclusive.
I do, but go ahead.
I mean, you can enjoy a comic book. There's many ways to read it, even if you don't read. Like, if you have a very expensive comic book, even if it's not professionally graded or tombed, as you say.
That's the thing. I love the smell of comic. I don't want to have
it like, dude, if you had Action Comics #1, would you
first appearance of Superman? We must explain to the layman out there. Action Comics #1 was published in 1938. Right. It's the first appearance of Superman. DC Comics.
Would you just like pull it out and like and smell it and like no? You'd be like, dude, I don't need to touch this thing. Right?
In that instant,
right?
You're not negating anything I said.
No. Well,
actually, if I didn't say this, I will say it now. I think comics 1965 and older should be preserved and probably encased and entombed in a case like this, just for the preservation.
Right. Okay,
if it's a desirable book, like a Marvel comic book hero book.
Now, I do know
over 1965. Let me finish.
Yeah, cool. Finish.
Over 1965, in terms of when it was published, I would not have it encased unless I was someone trying to make a quick buck, or in the business. Nothing wrong with that either.
I mean,
it depends on what you want as a comic book fan, collector, or entrepreneur, or whatever you are in the comic book industry. Aside from an illustrator or writer,
I can't.
What? What's wrong, man?
I'm trying to grab this. So,
yeah.
This came out in 1973. This is not pre-60s. But this is a fucking
freaking
valuable comic book. So, this does not fit the criteria of pre-60s. It's still made out of paper, but it is extremely, extremely valuable. So every little bit of damage to this would reduce the grade, which reduces its value. So while this is not, in terms of comic books, very old, this is not like from the 50s. This is not from the early 60s, but it is very valuable. So having it tombed, having a grade for people who might be interested in purchasing it, knowing like, yes, I am spending $1,500 on a comic book, they might like knowing what the grade is. And as long as they keep it entombed, it will always have this grade.
Is that how that works, Danny? Like,
so it's a benefit.
Unless the seal is broken,
yeah,
the grade is good for how long? 100 years? I almost cracked the grade on this book.
Now,
FF7, I held this up earlier for the camera, but I stepped on it and I cracked.
Dude, I want to buy the other
I almost cracked it. What?
I want to buy the other one from you.
Well, that's another story. Anyway, you can't see on the camera, can you? I stepped on
knocked it off the kitchen table.
Well, I stepped on the damn thing. Here.
Now you can.
I didn't crack the seal. Explain
you can
what you could do. Sorry.
From CGC, send this back in, and they don't have to regrade it because the label or the seal is still intact. And
a serial number. They assign a serial number to every book.
It's like $15.
Right.
And they will re-encapsulate it. So if like the cover crack, tomb cracked or gets damaged or scuffed up, you don't have to like pay the cost to have it like totally regraded, as long as the seal.
Isn't that cool?
Is not broken.
That's cool that they do. CGC.
Everybody does that.
Well, I think that's a cool policy.
Now,
yeah.
The vagaries of grading. This is bothersome to collectors where, in your estimation, I just spent $50 to have, we'll pull this one out. I spent $50 to have this graded, and I thought this was like a 9.2, and this came back a 6, and I'm pissed off because if this book was a 9, it would be worth thousands more. So when people submit books and spend the money, sometimes the grade comes back. They're like, "Go!" Now, that depends on how much you spent on the comic book. So I did not need this to come back a 9, right? But some people like get like really turned upside down if they spent money on a comic book going, this is a 9, and it comes back a 6, and now I lost money. So they're like, grading systems suck, man. This is a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Well, did you look at the front? Did you look at the back? Did you examine the staples? Did you look at every single page? Not. So if the grade doesn't come back the way you wanted, the only reason that would upset you is because you spent more money than you should have on that book, right? Because you should, like, where the grade comes back, once again, there's knowledge to go, oh, it is actually this. I might have thought it was a 7. I'm going to buy that from you, chance. See, look at him like handling the books all willy-nilly. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Look at him. He's touching it. He's touching it, people.
August 1962.
Oh, let me see. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic Four issue 7. There was a mess up in that, only in the original issue, and it never gets a lot of discussion.
No, we discussed it.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
There's different people that might hear this message.
We were talking about grading or not grading.
All right.
We're not talking about
okay.
The Impossible Machine.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, vagaries in the grading system where, you know, you might get a grade where, oh, I thought it was a 7 and it came back a 6. I mean, you could resubmit it, but now that's an additional money on your behalf. So it's sort of like, oh, you got to suck it up and go, wow, I thought it was a 7, but it's a 6. And that might suck, depending on how much you spent on the book and to have it graded. Grading books does cost money, right? So
this is where I get hung up.
So if your comic book is worth $50, if it came back a 10, right? Don't spend $50 to have it graded. Because
you're not gonna make your money back.
I mean, that's assuming you got that book for free.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth $50 out of 10. You spent $50 to get it graded. It comes back a 10. You're even. And if it's worth 10, people aren't going to pay you $20 for it. So consider that. I mean, even like if you love the comic book, you've got to like know the value of the book in a somewhat, you know. I mean, is it a 1? Is it a 3? Is it a 8.0 or an 8.5? If it comes down to that, you spent too much money on the comic book, or you probably should not spend the money to have it graded. Because if you don't spend that additional money to have it graded, if the purchaser is like, oh, I'm just going to assume it's an 8, you're going to make more money than spending that money.
Right.
Your time and effort. Depending on how you sell a raw comic book. I was like, hey, chats, I have this comic book. Will you give me $100 for it? That was very little effort. If he's like, yes, here's $100. If I choose to sell this on eBay, I have to take pictures of it, make the listing, you know, put it on eBay and go, this is how much I want for this comic book. When it gets sold to a buyer, I now have to box this up, go to the post office, mail it out, get tracking, contact the seller, go, hey man, send it out. Here's tracking number, gabba, gabba, gabba. That's all effort. There's additional effort to have a book graded. Now you have to have the book, contact the grading company, package up your book, send it off to get graded, get tracking, get insurance, watching all this, going like, oh, that's my comic book. It's worth $5,000. Follow that tracking until it arrives. Wait for confirmation from the company that they've received it.
Right.
Now wait months for them to send it back to you. All this is effort. So to grade, not to grade, you have to consider your investment of money and time to do this.
But who do you trust to ship the books to and from the grading company?
Well,
what shipping service do you recommend? There must be one. FedEx, UPS, USPS, DHL. Who?
I use the standard mail, but I do buy insurance. Now, I learned something very interesting.
I learned that postal insurance isn't worth the doggone crap it's printed with. With a film purchase, I bought 60-milliliter films back in 2007. They were stacked up in a shipment. They got separated. I only received the one with the label on the top.
I told you.
They denied my claim. U.S. Postal Service. They suck.
I told you the local post office delivered a comic book to not my house, and
they screwed up the delivery of a comic.
But they paid me back within 2 days.
Are you talking about the comic that you got? A steal of a deal. Tales of Suspense 58. Captain America versus Iron Man first cover battle.
I got it for $60.
For cheap, good condition, what you could see. Now, you might have gotten it and the back cover was ripped up. You don't know.
No, it looked good.
But the local postal service delivered it
to the wrong house.
You're on a road. There's a similar road name right along you.
Yes. I mean,
I'm not going to mention the name of the road.
Like they deliver it to the wrong place. They were unable to reacquire it, and they.
But according to them, it was delivered.
I know, but I mean, they recognized their error. It didn't take a long battle.
Even with the insurance.
I mean, I still lost.
I got screwed by them. F them.
I still lost because I can't just take that $60 and rebuy it. Because I found
it's not like you ordered it off Target.
I found a great deal.
You didn't order off Target.com or Walmart.com.
I found a great deal.
Some mass-produced thing.
Right.
It's a one-of-a-kind for a good price. Anyway, moving on. So, who do you recommend? To answer the initial question, who do you recommend to ship to and from the grading companies your valuable comic books you're trusting with a delivery service? Who?
Okay.
Which company?
When I ship my comic books to PGX, I pay for insurance.
Right.
And it is.
This is from FedEx or UPS.
Well,
insurance is generally included. In those services.
Up to $50.
All right.
Right.
And comic books can be thousands.
Yeah. So if you ship it via the mail for $5,000 insurance, at least to say it was $20 to where it was going. It was like $70 for $5,000 insurance. Now, if you ship it registered, I sent a batch that it was 6,500, not 5,000, and with the $20 to get it to where it was going, the total bill was like $46. So shipping registered was way cheaper. I mean, it's still the mail, but it's insured. I had $6,500 insurance. So if they don't get it, where it's going?
Who do you recommend?
That was the post office. Now, the grading company actually uses FedEx to ship the stuff back to you because it requires a signature.
That's great. You want a signature for
yeah.
items of those of
Yeah.
that caliber.
Yeah.
You don't want to just trust it to some company that might leave it for a porch pirate to grab.
And
a porch pirate to grab. Excuse me.
And I've certainly had some issues.
Porch pilot. Go ahead.
You know, where the first batch from PGX, it was supposed to get delivered to the local Walgreens, but they delivered it to the house. It was supposed to require a signature verification, and they just left it on the front doorstep. Now, I got a notification via, robot phone going, oh, your package is ready for pickup. And I thought it was at the Walgreens. So I was like, okay, this is Kier. And I put on my shoes and opened my front door, and there was the package. And they did not get a signature verification, even though I was home. This most recent one, they did actually deliver it to the Walgreens, which they asked me at Walgreens for a photo ID, which I wanted, and a signature verification, which I was cool with because this package is worth, well, we went through it on something. I mean, it's worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So I was glad to do it that way. What are you doing?
Go ahead. Keep going.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
Back to like grade or not to grade. Another thing is the money that you spend to have your books graded, you could be using to buy other, valuable comic books. So it was like, well, dude, I spent $500 to have these 10 books graded. Maybe for that $500, I could have bought this very other up and coming valuable comic book that might make me thousands of dollars down the road. So why would I spend $500 to have, a number of books graded when I could add another book to my collection that might make me thousands of dollars down the road? I mean, and that's a legitimate question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you doing, Chance?
Nothing.
You're doing something, buddy.
Well, I don't like grading companies. I'm telling you, I don't like the way they charge people, especially the leading one. That's just me. And I have a great comic book collection with stuff in excellent condition, and I'd be a prime customer.
His comic book collection dwarfs mine.
This is not a commercial for my collection.
No.
I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, that's something I like to tell people too. It's like, dude, no matter how good your collection, there's a bunch of people that have a better one, and so where people get or
anything,
or the reverse of that, where people get like really like discouraged,
right?
Like, oh man, my Grail is whatever, like something reasonable. Secret Wars #1. We people might go like, oh, dude, that's rare.
People don't know what that is, but yeah.
But
I catch your drift. You're saying
for some people, like that might be their Grail. Or,
someone might have a comic book they think is worth a lot of money, and it might be to them. That's the way I am. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like this grading. I'm not much of an investor in comics as I am a fanboy or like a reader or an appreciator of the art. And I like to draw myself. I just love comics for a whole nother reason. Not against grading. And I just think that's really lame that you got to make someone, a consumer, a potential new customer, decide what they think the item is worth before they mail it in. And then they get, the grading company, meaning, gets a cut of whatever.
Now, I want like what
they graded.
What Chance is talking about? Like I said, it's like there's a little bit about intent. If your goal, if your goal is to like buy comic books and hold them and read them until the day you die,
Like me.
Never get a book graded. Why would you? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Use your money, buy comic books, accrue your collection. Who cares? Right? But if your intention is maybe some of these comic books that I've acquired during my lifetime might be worth a lot of money, and I want my whoever behind me, my children, my wife, my husband, to realize, like, don't get rooked, that this is a valuable comic book. Perhaps if it is encapsulated, that alone might let them know, hey, this is a valuable comic book because you did spend the money. It also will have a grade, so they don't have to know all. They just go, cool, this is the book, this is the grade. They have to know nothing. Nothing at all.
So you're pro grading for the record. Are you not? Obviously you are.
Pro grading.
You're pro grading comic books. You're pro having the comics graded by a grading company. Are you not? Are you pro or against? I would say you are pro because you're having graded. So on the record, sir, you're for grading.
But I'm also having such a small percentage.
Doesn't matter.
It does.
Answer the question. I don't care. Answer the question. Okay. Are you pro grading comics or against them?
If I own 5,000 comics and I get graded 50.
I don't care about percentages and number games.
Out of 5,000.
All right.
So like that's 4,950 comic books that I have ungraded.
So
that I can read, I can love, I can enjoy. If I have 50 comic books graded, that does not make me some monster or that I don't love comics.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
But it's like, dude.
That's not my question, though.
Oh, what was your question?
Are you for or against grading comic books?
It depends on what the purpose is.
Exactly.
Or the actual comic book.
That's my stance as well.
Are
you an investor or are you a comic book?
Well, no,
reader
does it mean? Dude, I have comic books that I want to have graded just because they're so old that like I want them.
And I'm on your side on that regard.
Right.
Listen, we talked about earlier.
Right. So
it will freaking preserve a comic book for 100 years, allegedly.
Right. So
and if you have something older than 1965, easy to see what year the comic was published. It's right in the opening page in the inside cover.
So when you ask me,
and it's a superhero comic book,
so when you
particularly
ask me,
Marvel, get it graded. I would get that graded to preserve it.
Right. When you ask me, are you for it or against it?
Correct.
It's like, dude, what's the comic book? What are you trying?
There's a lot of factors.
Yes.
All right. Well, there's where the gosh darn date is of publication. By the way, that's Fantastic Four #7, released in August 1962. That's okay. I got another one.
But no, that's the point. I would love to have that one. So don't hurt it.
Well, the cool thing about this book is
stop touching it.
All right, we've already talked about this, but it was on your channel.
Stop touching it.
Channel. All right, look at that panel. It's important.
I mean, dude, look at this.
Look at that panel. Okay. Read the dialogue. Okay, the enlarging gas.
Oh my God, we did this.
I know, but not everyone.
I'm gonna start like cursing.
That's the only time. It's just reducing gas.
Blah blah blah
reducing
blah
gas.
blah blah.
Reducing gas. It was a script.
We did this.
Okay, it was a script. See that reducing
gas?
Yeah,
we did it.
Only time it said reducing gas was in the original issue from 1962. When it was reprinted in 1966,
has nothing to do with like
classics. They had changed it. They changed it to enlarging gas.
He just goes
they screwed up.
Has nothing to do with books graded, not graded.
Right.
He just wants to talk about this again.
No, you're
Well,
fine.
no,
Go ahead.
no.
I was going to show them from the
No, yeah, because
1966
yes,
reprint.
enlarging gas, reducing gas.
Oh gosh,
Do you see
where
it
is it?
again, people?
No, that's the first time it was reprinted. No one talks about it. About how in FF7 that was the only time, and that issue has been reprinted at least 7, maybe 5 or 7 times, and they always changed it except for the original. Ah well, go on. I guess we're done. We can wrap. We're talking about. God dang,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Get my phone out of my wallet.
So you are for comic book grading.
I know. I answered.
I'm not necessarily against it, but it depends on your needs.
I think there's reasons to get some comic books graded, but you need to know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and is the money you're spending to have it graded going to make you happy?
That's a good answer. That's a great answer. All right, well, let's get the hell out of here. We've been talking for about an hour, and come here. Let's sign off. What you doing? Are you locking the door? All right, let's sign off here, man. Come back here. We did a video earlier. Danny, promote your page again on YouTube, your YouTube channel, please.
Kraken's Lair Comics.
Kraken with a K. Kraken, like release the Kraken. Kraken's Lair Comics.
Yes.
Kraken's Lair Comics on YouTube.
Yes.
All right. I'm on YouTube also. 2 channels.
Chance Acting Demo.
Chance, very good. Chance Acting Demo and the Nostalgic Podblast.
And
that's our podcast.
Fistful of Radio.
Yeah.
And wait.
.com.
And coming soon. Radio Zero.
Oh, it's here. It's here. Now we're gonna talk pop culture and stuff. It'll be better than this. I think I was a little lackluster. All right. Night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Anybody that happened to see this on this stupid Facebook Live transmission. Later.
God, I hope not.